This is LionPokerTV. Bazinga.
In recapping match 7.05, it was a rematch of the previous match as Steve took down Kathy. However, this time around, it was Nana turning the screws on Booger as she wins for the first time this season. It continues a great run of form for Nana Bailey as she has cemented a place in the Sexy Six and doesn't seem likely to fall out of it anytime soon. Joe Caps was back in action and took third place. Same can be said for Dominic. He had a nice fourth place finish, his best so far this season. Bob D returned the points as well. Kim and Alec round out the top 7 on this night, a night that Nana Bailey was the winner.
I don't generally get aggressive when I have a big stack, and that was something that I was working on today. When I did find myself with a big stack, I got a little more aggressive, and that's not something I've done really well in the past. So that definitely worked in my favor.
Now looking back at 7.06, it was a night when Alec became a 2-time winner on the season. He beat the ever dangerous and always in the top 2, seemingly, Nana Bailey, on the night when he picked up 32 points, a smashing 8 hits on the evening. Alec has vaulted on up into the Sexy Six as one would expect after a night like this with such dominating performances. Kim and Josh rounded out the top 4. Dr. Teeth, Steve and Trey, all 3 have been very consistent so far this season, and they too earned points on the night. But this night belonged to Alec, as he picked up his second win so far.
Tonight was one of those nights where you just try to win the battles, and it just kept going for me. I kept hitting cards, I kept doing it, so I rode the wave, and I would like to say that it was superior play, but sometimes it's just dumbass luck.
On paper, one would look at 7.07 as a night when Guy would win. He and his 8 hits on the night seemed to be enough, but it was not meant to be, as Dr. Teeth gets his very first TNPC victory in just under a year and a half play in the club. It was a battle, the second longest heads-up match so far in the history of the club, with 2 very similar styles going at it. But it was Teeth who reached out and grabbed his very first victory. Josh has been coming on of late, took third place, and is starting to make his way up the table. Greg picked up much needed points, while Trey, Joe, and Cody were also doing the business as well. Congratulations to Dr. Teeth, Dave Neal, on his very first win as a Lion Poker Club member.
Played how I normally play because I never have more than what we start with ever. Doubled up, tripled up. Had a couple good beats here and there, and had to go heads up with this clown. And then we grinded it out for about 30-some minutes here, and the last hand wasn't fun either. I'm glad I popped my cherry.
And now let's look at the Sexy Six and the wild card. Steve Dawson remains in first place, but it was Dr. Teeth coming off of his very first victory, moving into the second place spot. Trey also moves back into the Sexy Six, thanks to his 5th place showing. He is sandwiched between Kim and Alec by half point either direction. So Alec slipped out into the wild card, while Guy moved on in, coming in the last place to the last match. His runner-up placing was good enough to get him into the 11th place spot. and now he's looking fairly well. So there it is, the wild card, a sexy 6. You will not see Greg, Dom, or Susan on this list. They are not quite in there yet. Till next time, thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon.
This is Trey, and we are here for the player spotlight for this episode, and I'm with Guy Pascarella. And Guy is a rounder who has been with us since season 4, and that sounds like it was a very long time ago. I feel like we've said this before. Maybe we have.
It's
I don't
deja vu
know.
all over
Weird,
again.
weird stuff. Anyway, season 4. Take us back to that, back in the old house. So that just shows that you have been here for a little while.
Right.
Give us a little walkthrough of your thoughts of coming into this thing.
Sure. So, me getting in here was, I was a big patron of the Bonefish Grill back when Jen Funk was working there and Alec was working there, and I became friends with them. And Alec was telling me, "Oh yeah, I got this poker game that I play in." And I was like, "Oh, I could do that. Why not? It sounds like a good time." I was looking for some more people to hang out with in the valley, being relatively new here. So I said, "Hey, can you get me an invite?" And he did. And so I showed up, and here I've been ever since. It was a rocky road in the beginning. I think my first game was very interesting. I came in to this game. I went down into this guy's basement that I'd never been in before.
I already don't like where this is going.
I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know these people. There's probably going to be 19 other people there, and I'm going in pocket full of cash. I don't know what's going on, but I stuck with it, and I came down, played, and it was a good time. The first game was a little interesting. There was some physicality.
Yeah. No, I don't know anything about that. Here you are. You're new to our group. As a player, what was your experience level like prior to coming into this whole new environment?
So coming into the group, I didn't really have a lot of experience in tournaments. It was more just a hey, let's get some guys together and play some cards kind of deal.
Dealer calls and whatnot.
Yeah, so and it was all like, every once in a while we would play with chips, but mostly it was just like, coins and stuff.
Sure.
Or whatever.
Which is what everybody perceives poker games to be like.
Exactly.
I mean, we're on steroids with this. There's no doubt about it.
Well, I tell you what, since joining this club, I've decked out my whole poker repertoire. I've got chips. I've got a big old briefcase full of chips, copogs. I got some cards.
Nice.
Next step is when I finish my basement. Hopefully, I can get a table down there and make something happen.
Here you are. You come down in the den. You start out season 4. Season 4. Season 5, season 6. You still have yet to play in the wild card or the Champions game.
Right.
So, walk us through a little bit about, in regards to your actual play in the club, how you've done in the club.
Sure. So, I like to say that's by design that I haven't played in the wild card. I mean, and that's half truth, half not. I come here to play to have fun. And to meet people and to have some camaraderie, and really that's what it's about for me, is having a good time.
Right.
I'm not here to win. I'm not here to take people out. I'm just here to play some cards, to make myself better, so that when I go to tournaments, when I go to casinos, I don't embarrass myself.
I've seen you play. I for one, have always felt like with Guy, the potential has always been there.
Right.
To be a little bit better than you've performed. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't know how to play this game. It's just that you bring a different philosophy to this table, to this den, every time you come to play. Now, you said a couple weeks ago to me at the cash game that you prefer that style of play as opposed to a tournament.
I do. Totally different game than tournament style, which is what we play. You're playing by hand. You're not focusing on the future, which is not something I can't do. It's just something I don't particularly enjoy. What I enjoy is in the moment playing the hand, you know, getting the real donkey stuff, you know, 2-7 offsuit on a big blind, and just running with it, and just surprising everybody when you pop out with that.
And you don't think that can transition into our matches here in TNPC?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, tonight, you know, I came in second tonight, and the reason I came in second was because I wasn't playing those gambling, adrenaline rushing hands. It's because I was folding almost every single hand I had.
Casinos, Sands. You had your first casino tournament
Right.
that you played in a
Right.
couple weekends ago. You followed that up with another one last weekend. The one I want to focus on is the one that you finished third.
Yeah.
You took
Let's
third
not-
out of what?
Let's
55?
not focus on the other one.
Yeah. Okay. So they don't always go that well.
Right.
And most of us can probably tell you horror stories from casino tournaments, but you finished third.
I finished third.
It was a satellite to a
Yep.
deep stack tournament.
Yep.
You know, I for one was there. Kathy was there. Just real quick, give us your insight to that actual tournament.
There were 55 buy-ins. I just did my thing, and I was there to play cards. I wasn't there to make friends. I wasn't
Right.
there to talk to people. I wasn't there to drink. I was just there to play cards, and that's what I did. I played
Worked
cards.
out. Yeah, you won multiple huge pots.
I
There,
did.
which always helps.
Absolutely.
It's good stuff. Now, how would you say the final table of that event compares to a final table here at TNPC?
Final table when you don't know people is totally different than the final table when you do know people. There's a lot of smack talk, especially when you were calling people, and they had crap in their hands and they didn't want any calls. There's a lot of smack talk. It was a very different game than what I was used to. But I think, you know, the training that I received in the den, and, you know, not that there's a training regimen or anything, but just the hands I've been in, the experience I've gathered, really helped me there. It really did.
Good stuff.
You know, every time I think of Mardi Gras, I think of the baby and the cake, and I always want to get the slice of that ring cake or the king cake with the baby in it, and I never do, but I win, so I guess it really doesn't matter. He's one of my really, really good friends. We hang out a lot. He's a very interesting player. I can't tell you about that. That's classified.
That's an excellent answer. I'm very excited about that answer. This is Guy, and I can't tell you much more about him because he's classified.
I'm not
He's a
classified.
bastard.
Stop.
No, we love Guy. We're glad to have you on the team, man. We're out of here.
Cheers.
Go to bed.
Yeah.